Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Curtis over at Oakwood. So today's lesson is going to be going over the concepts of a dot when it comes to rhythm. So you may be wondering, what do you mean by a dot when it comes to rhythm? Well, let's say we take a standard rhythm, like a whole note, and we just boop, add a little dot there. That's all I'm talking about. But this simple dot fundamentally changes the value of that rhythm, and we're going to talk about how. So first we have to address what is the dot. So if you're following along on the worksheet that's supplied in today's lesson, this is going to be at the top, the definition. So a dot is a rhythm symbol that adds the value of the rhythm one branch lower on the rhythm tree. So a dot is a rhythmic symbol that adds the value of a rhythm one branch lower on the rhythm tree. So if we look at the rhythm tree here, at the top we have a whole note. On the next branch down, a whole note splits into two half notes. On the next branch down, we can split a half note into two quarter notes, and on the last branch here, we can split a quarter note into two eighth notes. So if I wanted to add a dot to a whole note, like I demonstrated earlier, well, let's sort of break down how that works. So make sure you have this note tree in front of you or on your worksheet because you're gonna need it. So if I want to have a dotted whole note, well, let's break that down a little bit. So we have a whole note plus that dot now. Okay, but that dot is worth whatever the rhythm is, one branch lower on the rhythm tree, which in this case, going down from a whole note would be a half note. So really, this is a whole note plus a half note. It's fundamentally what that is. So now we have to address, well, what are the values of those notes? Well, we know a whole note is worth 4 beats. A half note is worth 2 beats. So we now know that if we add 4 and 2, which equal 6, a dotted whole note equals 6 total beats. So now to put that into context, on your worksheet you should have an example of about 4 measures of rhythm that you're being asked to count and write out the counts for below it. We're going to do the first 2 measures together. Make sure you're circling where the sound would start, like the start of every note, and that you're crossing through any sustained sound, like any tays that need to be crossed through. So starting here at the very beginning, we have a half note on beat 1, so we'll start that as 1 tay, but because it's a half note, it also carries through 2 tay. Underneath the quarter note, we'll have 3 tay. And then for the eighth notes, we'll have 4 and tay. But we need to make sure that we're circling the correct numbers or tays depending on the rhythm. So this whole note starts on beat 1, so we'll circle 1, but then it carries all the way through 2 tay. For this quarter note, it occurs on beat 3 because 1 tay, 2 tay are taken up by that whole half note. So we'll circle the 3 and then it'll carry through tay because it's a full quarter. And then 4 tay are each independent sounds for those eighth notes. So we're going to circle both 4 and tay. So there's your first measure. Now for your second measure, that rest occurs on 1 tay. And this dotted half note, notice there is a dot, so we're going to have to address that here in a second. 2 tay, 3 tay, 4 tay. But now we have to figure out what do we circle, what do we cross through? Well, we know that because the first beat is a rest, we don't have to circle or cross through anything. But with this dotted half note, let's go through our equation real quick. So we have our half note with a dot, which means we really have a half note plus the dot, but the dot is equal to whatever the rhythmic value is, one branch lower on the rhythm tree. So we go from a half note, one branch lower would be a quarter note. So really we have a half note plus a quarter note. Value-wise, a half note's worth 2 beats, a quarter note's worth 1 beat, which equals 3 total. So really a dotted half note is worth 3 beats total. So that means that if this dotted half note right here starts on beat 2, which it does, it's going to carry all the way from 2-te, 3-te, 4-te through 3 full beats because it's worth 3 beats. So that's the first 2 measures done for you. If we were going to count and clap this, it would go something like this. So I'm going to step to this side. Here's the first 2 measures. Ready, go. 1-te, 2-te, 3-te, 4-te, 2-te, 3-te, 4-te. Notice how this carried all the way through. Made sure we rested here. All right, and that's the dot for you. Have a wonderful day.